Get that fucking trash out of your life. You have legacies to build. We grew that business from 3.4 million to 17.1. Horsepower, not horse shit. You want to be the parent that's an ally. They don't need another fucking friend. Not everybody's cup of whiskey. Toughest advice for the toughest businessmen. Be relentless. 13 principles you will never learn at Harvard Business School that my daughter Emery, my 10-year-old daughter Emery, has learned through her lemonade stand here in Naples. It is a massive, massive daddy-daughter day today. Today is our lemonade stand that my daughter, my 10-year-old daughter Emery, and I are putting together today to raise money for the Southwest Naples Conservatory. That is a charity for animals, injured animals, nature, environment. Our friend Tim Thompson, who lives in this community, a fantastic, fantastic guy. He actually took Emery on a tour of the conservancy a couple of weeks ago, and we saw the incredible work they do. Helping alligators, turtles, birds, injured animals. They nurse them back to health. It's a large veterinary school, all run by volunteers, volunteer veterinarians, volunteers. It's just an amazing, amazing place. So when my daughter Emery said to me a couple of months ago, she said, "Daddy, I want to do my lemonade stand here in Naples before we head home to Canada." My first question to her was, all right, let's lead with kindness. Let's lead with compassion and empathy when it comes to business. Who can we serve? Who can this lemonade stand help? And then the rest of it is simple. So she gave that some thought for a couple hours, and she came back to me and she said, "I would like to donate a percentage of the profits, of the income, of the tips, of the donations to the animal nature conservation program that she toured." So that's how we're leading with kindness. That's how we're leading with compassion. That's her big reason why for this business. And it's amazing when you start a company or you look to create a mission or a goal, if you stop and you forget about, oh, well, I want to make money, I want to make 6 figures, I want to make 7 figures, I want to make millions of dollars, and you change your focus to who can this business serve, who can this business help, how can I lead with kindness and compassion and empathy for people in real need, then all of a sudden the business goes from just an ordinary company to something extraordinary. Those are the type of businesses that blow up in a good way. They transform the world, they make a small difference, and they become these epic companies because they're about something more than just the owner. They're about more than just making money. And the offspring of all that is you make a lot more money. You do a lot better, you serve more people, you make more money. Anybody that's struggling in terms of money, well, our business doesn't make enough money, you're not serving enough people. You haven't found your burning reason why. If you're struggling financially, it's because you're still in the insurance business, or you're still in the jewelry store business, or you're still in the fitness center business, or you're still in the restaurant business. The day you get out of those businesses and get into the significant business, get in the business of legacy building, it's a totally different game. You can see the difference between getting up every single day and getting dressed and showered and going and selling insurance policies, or getting up and selling car washes, or getting up and selling, you know, tennis lessons, versus getting up and saying, I'm gonna serve those people I've been called to serve. Getting up and living a life of significance. And significance leads to legacy. You're building a legacy company, something that people will remember long after you're gone. Most businesses are forgotten 5 minutes after they close, or 5 minutes after the founder has passed away, literally forgotten. But legacy and significant businesses, like legacy and significant lives, it's the exact opposite. They live for decades, if not centuries. In other words, your grandchildren know about your company. Your great-grandchildren know about your company. That's the exact opposite of what happens 99.9% of the time. So are you building a company of significance? Who are you serving? Are you leading with kindness, compassion, and empathy? There's nothing I do in business that's not about serving other people. When I struggled early on, it was all about Michael McLean. It was all about, how can I get rich? How can I make a ton of money? How can I win? And it was strange because I would lose. When I lead with just my own selfishness, I would lose. It's a bad energy. It makes you repellent to winning. It makes you repel money. When you lead with kindness and compassion and empathy when it comes to your entrepreneurship, all of a sudden you make yourself massively magnetic to money. You make yourself massively magnetic to success. You make yourself massively magnetic to good fortune. Man, he's the luckiest guy in the world, or man, she's the luckiest gal in the world. When you build a company based on significance, serving other people, and you build a lasting legacy, well, that company changed the lives of thousands of people. You make yourself magnetic to winning. So that's a shift that I made 20 years ago. That's one of the reasons that I've been able to attract so much wealth through my companies. I moved from serving myself to leading with kindness, compassion, and empathy. So that's even something as simple as a little lemonade stand. That's the first thing I got my daughter to. I made her sit down with one of those yellow legal pads of paper and pen, and I made her sit down, and even though it's just a 2-hour lemonade stand, I made her write out her mission and purpose for the lemonade stand. Why the hell are we doing this? Not just show up and hand people lemonade. What's the purpose? What's the mission? And who are we going to serve? And it's amazing. She came back to me with her purpose, with her reason why, with her mission. It only took a few minutes, and she said, you know, we're gonna raise all kinds of money for the Southwest Naples Conservancy. And you know, that's given her so much focus and so much motivation as we prepare for this lemonade stand today, because there's nothing more inspirational than serving other people. So now, instead of us just, you know, slinging drinks today, it's about, man, how much money can we make for these great people? Makes all the difference in the world. We've got all the motivation and drive and focus we need, because now It's about the power of one. It's about more than just us. So my daughter put 13 principles together on her legal pad of paper. I sat down and I said, answer these 13 questions. And they're principles for any business, a small business, one-person business, retail business, professional practices business, coaching, consulting, real estate investment, any kind of business under the sun. I have 13 principles, badass principles, that I insist on. I use these 13 principles in my consulting program. I use these 13 principles to build my #1 insurance agency. I use these 13 principles to design and develop the #1 barber shop in the country. I've used these 13 principles for the last 19 years to build what I would term spectacular companies. Companies of significance, companies that people remember, companies that I've sold for record multiples, companies that are the talk of the town, companies that are wow companies. They stand for more than just what we're doing. Significance and legacy companies. And this month in my May Michael McLean letter, my newsletter, I'm going to be writing about these 13 principles that my daughter Emery put together for today's lemonade stand. She literally sat down and she answered these 13 questions that I have. And she had pages and pages of notes. She's only 10 years old. And I shared these 13 principles with my world building champions, my highest level mastermind members yesterday. And they are so powerful and they can help you make so much money. They can help you improve almost any area of your business or your life, that I have to share them with my newsletter tribe members. So in the May edition of the Michael McLean letter, I'm going to break down the 13 lemonade stand principles that my daughter is using today. And they're 13 principles you'd never ever learn at Harvard Business College, Harvard Business School. These are 13 principles that you can immediately use in your business. They're 13 principles that apply to a small business or a medium-sized business, large business, one-person operation, or 30-person operation. It doesn't really matter. So if you're not subscribed, I'm going to open the doors to membership to the newsletter over the next handful of days. To subscribe, go to michaelmcleanletter.coach. That's michaelmcleanletter.coach. The link is below this video and the link is in this email. So I'm opening up immigration for the next 5 days. If you want to subscribe and get the May edition, then go to michaelmcleanletter.coach. And the link is below and you can subscribe. I'll send you one of these really cool #badass be relentless t-shirts. It says badass on the front and on the back it says be relentless. They're really nice. They're like $57 shirts. And I'll throw one of those in as a free bonus. It's $97 a month, $3.24 a day. I mean, the homeless bum on the corner could afford that. It's not about the money. It's about priorities. And also you can upgrade to Diamond and receive my 4 weekly telegrams where I mail you actually physical paper and ink telegrams, my best marketing ideas each week. I mail them to your house or your business, and that's $197. So you have the option, $97 or $197. Either way, I'm gonna toss in one of these badass t-shirts for you to wear. I wear them when I'm training, I wear them when I'm writing, I wear them when I'm walking. Everywhere, everybody that runs into me is like, where'd you get that shirt? Where'd you get that shirt? And I don't have the time to sell them, but I'll be walking through an airport, or I'll be walking through a spring training baseball stadium. Wherever I wear these badass t-shirts, everybody is like, where'd you get those? So Leanne shipped me a box of them in books, of course. I always have a box full of books and a crate full of t-shirts in the back of my truck. And I'm in a pickleball group, learning pickleball. I played professional tennis, so I know how to play a little bit of pickleball, but nonetheless, I want to learn the game correctly, so I'm taking a clinic. And there's 11 other people in this pickleball clinic. And I show up the first day with my wife, Krista, and mostly women, and which is terrific. And I'm like, I got my shorts and t-shirt on and my pickleball racket, and I got my badass t-shirt on, and the women just love it, They're like, oh, look at that shirt. Where'd you get that shirt? My husband loved that shirt. I'd love that shirt. So in total self-promotion, I'm in the Michael McLean business, right? I'm not in the coaching business. I'm not in the insurance business. I'm not in the barbershop business. I'm in the Michael McLean business. So I show up last Monday with 11 t-shirts and 13 of my books, complimentary copies of my books, and I autographed each book. The reason I had 13 books is a couple of extra books for a couple of husbands. So it doesn't matter if they ever read the book. Most of them will never crack the cover. These people are not clients of mine. They're not prospects. They're not going to join my program. I didn't do it for that reason. I did it to lead with kindness and compassion and empathy, and basically just to be fun, to have fun. I'm not going to change anybody's world. I'm not going to make a dollar off of this. I just love showing up like nobody else. I love making people smile. I love making a positive impact. I love doing little things that make people feel good. Little things often, small things often, as they say, small things often. You should have seen the smiles with these 11 t-shirts. Oh man, I'm gonna love this. Oh, my husband will love your book. And like, whether he does or whether he doesn't makes no difference to me. They're not my prospects or clients. They're just great people. And it just changes everything when you lead with kindness. Like, all of a sudden you have 11 people that you know better. They share their stories. They're more honest. They're more truthful. They're more authentic. You learn that everybody is going through something. Doesn't matter how affluent they are or how wealthy everybody's going through something. It's just some people are better at wearing masks than others. So just amazing how, if you're in the Michael McLean business or the Willie Miranda business or the Tom Burns business or, you know, the Marc-Andre LeBlanc business, it makes all the difference in the world. And that's why I give away thousands of books a year. I keep them in the trunk of my vehicle. Good morning. I give away hundreds and hundreds of these t-shirts. Like, I get these t-shirts made. I don't know what they cost. I think they cost $15 or $20. I used to sell them for 60 bucks, 70 bucks, whatever it was. Couldn't be bothered. But people just love them, and they just love a surprise. So leading with kindness, no different than a lemonade stand. Which brings me to one of the big principles I'll share with you. Of the 13 principles you'll never learn at Harvard Business School, but you'll learn from my 10-year-old daughter, is I said, okay, Emery, I said, let's talk about the money math. Okay, we want to serve people. We want to make money for the conservancy. What's the money math? How are we going to maximize profit? We're not running a charity. We're not running a soup kitchen. We're not running a halfway house. This is business today. We get one shot at this. I'm walking up to this four-way stop. This is where it'll be today because we want maximum traffic, right? So this is where it's going to be up here, the four-way stop, which is the busiest in the gated community. So hundreds of cars will go by in the 2 hours, and we're going to be right here. Where that's the Walt Disney principle of traffic, foot traffic, and actual traffic, because there's not a ride at Disney that you don't get off and you fall into a gift store. You fall into a toy store. So that's the Disney principle of making people walk through the gift shop, making people walk past all the toys and the stuffies and all these things. Walt was one clever cleaner. So I said to Emery, one of the 13 principles, I said, tell me your money math. And I said, how are you going to sell the lemonade? So she came back and she said, Daddy, I'm going to sell it for $2, and lemonade with a cookie is going to be $5. And I said, that's great. I said, you'll probably make a couple of $100. Maybe you'll do better, maybe you'll do worse, but $2, $5 with an upsell, that's a good strategy. I said, what if we take this to the next level and lead with kindness? And she was like, what do you have in mind? And I said, well, answer this question for me. And I don't give her the answers. She has to think. I want her to think independently. I don't want her to think what I think. I want her to think for herself. I'm constantly, Krista and I are preaching independent thinking. What makes sense? Does that seem right? What's your golden gut saying? What's your intuition saying? What's your creator telling you? What do you think? So she went back with her pen and paper, and I gave her the question. I said, what if you lead with kindness? And I said something like this. I said, what if you give the lemonade away for free? You know, she's thinking. I said, what about you give away the lemonade for free? Now, a person with a scarcity mindset would be scared of this principle, right? I can't give my product away for free. I can't give my book away for free. I can't give a t-shirt away for free. I'm gonna go broke. That's the scarcity losing mindset. I can't send thank you cards. They're expensive. I can't send shock and awe FedEx packages. Those are expensive. FedEx is expensive. Stamps are expensive. I can't send a physical newsletter every month. That's expensive. So her mindset is one based on abundance. After years and years of parenting, her mindset is abundance. So I said, what if you give away your lemonade for free, and you say you have a tip jar and a donation jar, one of the same? And I said, the people then have the option when you give them the lemonade. I call it my reciprocity principle, where we are all hardwired, you and me, when somebody does something nice for us, when somebody is kind to us, when somebody is generous, and somebody gives you a surprise, a gift, somebody gives you a glass of lemonade, somebody gives you a t-shirt, somebody gives you a compliment, somebody gives you something. You know, we're hardwired. Reciprocity is we're hardwired to want to give something back. Maybe that day, it may be a month from now, but we're hardwired. And isn't that a much better way to lead when you all of a sudden, instead of saying, oh, well, it's $2 or it's $5, then giving something first. Giving something first that makes people feel good. It makes people, puts a smile on their face. It's a nice surprise. People won't know this is free until we offer it to them, and then giving them the opportunity to leave a tip or a donation. And I know this concept will explode her sales. I didn't say that, but Grant Cardone taught me this concept last year, and she'll literally 10x to 25x her sales because of this. If she took the ordinary route like everybody else and she charged $2 or $5, every time she's going to get $2 or $5. Let's say we have 100 people. Well, that's $200 less expenses. That's a pretty ordinary day, right? She did well. She's got to subtract her expenses, her lemonade, her cookies. And at the end of the day, she will make maybe a little bit of money. And she'll donate a percentage of it to the Conservancy. And, you know, everybody will be happy, but it won't move the needle as much as if we think completely outside the box and we do this differently. We think like badasses. What's everybody doing? Let's do the opposite. So I said to her, I said, what if you give the lemonade away free and then you have a tip jar and a donation jar? Well, she wrote that down and she thought, man, that leading with kindness is the way to go. And I told her, I told her what Grant said about the shoe shine guy at the Atlanta airport. Cardone was walking through the Atlanta airport last year, and there was a shoe shine guy there in the main terminal, and he was sitting there and he didn't have one customer, not one. And he had a sign, shoe shine, $10, $5, whatever. And he had no customers. So Grant went over and got his shoe shined for the $10, and he used the opportunity to talk to the gentleman. And he said, sir, what is the number one thing that stops people from getting their shoes shined? And he said, well, besides the fact they're not wearing dress shoes, he says time. He says they're afraid that the shoe shine's going to take 10 or 15 minutes, that they're going to be late for their flight or they're going to miss their flight. So that's their number one pain. So Grant said to the man, he said, what about this? Good morning. He said, what about changing your sign and your offer to this? What about changing it to free shoe shine in 5 minutes? Free shoe shine in 5 minutes. And the guy was like, really? He said, well, just test it for an hour or two. You have nothing to lose. You don't have any customers here. People are going by in the thousands and not stopping. So the guy changed his offer, took a black Sharpie and flipped over the sign, free shoe shine in 5 minutes. So free is leading with kindness. And number two is, okay, you're addressing the elephant in the room. It's only going to take 5 minutes. I have 5 minutes to get my shoe shined. So Grant went and got something to eat for lunch, and he came back about 45 minutes later, and the guy has a lineup. The guy has a lineup of people waiting. And why does he have a lineup? He has a lineup because free shoe shine in 5 minutes. But here's the thing. He put out a tip jar instead of charging $5 or $10. So Grant goes over and talks to the guy, and he says, how's the money? How's the money math? That's the most important thing. He said, man, he says, I'm making 5, 10 times, 20 times as much. He said, when I was charging $5 or $10, whatever it was, he goes, I'd get $5 and maybe a small tip. He says, now that I'm giving the shoe shine away for free, he said, he says, and I have a tip jar there. He says, people are dropping in $20 bills. He goes, a guy dropped in a $100 bill. One person dropped in a $50 bill. He says, I've gone from 5s and 10s to 20s and 50s. And Grant was like, bingo, reciprocity. That thankfulness, that hardwired giving. This gentleman is doing something for free. He's leading with kindness. And all of a sudden people are like so generous. They're like, okay, I really appreciate you making my day. I really appreciate you, you know, giving me this nice surprise gift. Here's a 20, here's a 50, and in one case, 100. So we're using that Grant Cardone reciprocity with our lemonade. And I'll have the results to share with you later on this week. But I think it's a winner. And I think the other 12 principles that we went through, they're upsells, downsells, visualization. I've had Emery, we've gone through all of the good things that can happen, all of the bad things that can happen. We've gone through the mental exercise of we may not make any money, we may not make a lot of money, and then we started visualizing our championship. I had her close her eyes for a couple of minutes the last 2 days and visualize all the cars parked, people with big smiles on their face, people drinking lemonade in the sunshine, people upselling and buying cookies. I made her visualize the donation jar overflowing with 50s and $100 bills. I made her visualize it as a massive, massive success. So she's already seen that in her mind a couple of days now. You know, not the opposite of playing with scared money. She's visualizing winning. She's visualizing kindness. She's visualizing success. So I'll update you on how well she does. She's got 13 principles. She's got upsells, how she marketed this. Her marketing strategy was beyond belief. Like, I'm gonna write about the 13 principles in the newsletter and they're gonna blow you away. Absolutely blow you away. She used everything from email. She's using physical mail. She's using other people's lists, customer lists. She used anti-social media. She used photos. She used videos. The kid total badassed it. 13 principles. And again, you can take these 13 principles and apply them to your company, anything you do, and you're gonna 5X, 10X, 25X your results. So that's what we've been up to at the McLean Ranch for the last 48 hours. The michaelmcleanletter.com. michaelmcleanletter.com. You can subscribe below. The link is below, and it's also in my email. The 13 principles, the 13 marketing principles you'll never learn at Harvard Business School that a 10-year-old will teach you at her lemonade stand. If you find these videos valuable, pay the tax. I don't charge you to watch these videos. I shoot them every day. I lead with kindness and compassion. I don't care really. You can buy my book, you can buy my newsletter. If you don't, that's fine as well, but I'll continue to show up every day and serve 1 million men. If these videos help you, make sure that you make a comment, make sure that you subscribe, and also make sure that you share them with people that need to hear these messages. Share them with your employees, with your adult children. Share them with a friend who needs to hear a positive message. And that's how you pay the tax. That's how you pay it forward. Look at that beautiful sunrise behind us. Every morning, that's my commission. That's my commission check right there. Every morning, I get to walk and see that. That is my reward. Proof that leading with kindness and leading with compassion is the only way to build a company. And as this lemonade stand will prove, good morning. It's the only way. It's the best business way. You want maximum wealth in minimum time? Lead with kindness. You want to make the most money? Lead with kindness. You want to serve the most people? Lead with kindness. You want to be remembered? Kindness. You want to live a life of significance? Kindness. You want to build a business and family, a legacy life? People actually remember you. Your great-grandkids actually know who you were. You're not forgotten like everybody else 15 minutes after your death. Lead with kindness. Build a legacy of kindness. And these 13 principles, man, they all start with leading with kindness. So that's it. We're off to, I'm going to do some reading, some copywriting, drink a big cup of coffee, and then it's going to be balls to the wall lemonade stand today. And I'm looking forward to, we homeschool Emery 3 days a week. We do homeschool 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And one of the things that we insist on homeschooling is that she does something entrepreneurial once a week. So this is right up our alley. Like, we're not going to be doing science and biology and geography today. We're going to be doing how to make money and serve other people. And I make her do all the work, by the way. I'm the grunt today. I'm the guy that carries the coolers. I'm the guy that is going to, you know, do all the, good morning. I'm the guy who's going to pour the lemonade, and I'm the guy that's going to carry the tables. What am I making my 10-year-old do? She has to do all the selling. She has to do all the asking. She has to do all the upselling. She has to do all of the asking. Everything that she's done in these 13 principles, I've made her knock on the door. I've made her write the email. I've made her call on the phone. I've made her ask. I'm developing those mental calluses of no means not now. That failure is part of a process, and no means not now. And no means not now, just getting, you know, getting to that point where 3%, 4% yeses is like a massive win. And just continuing to teach her and emphasize that losing is not trying. Losing is not trying. Losing is not getting turned down or somebody not saying, or somebody saying no. Losing is when we don't try. Like the great Sarah Buckley's dad, what have you failed at this week? Tell me something. What have you failed at today? What's something you failed at this week? Winning and learning. Winning and learning. And then do what nobody else does. Make sure you don't make the same damn mistake again. Stop repeating mistakes. There's winning and there's learning. There's winning and there's learning. And then what have you failed at? Fail with flair, fail forward. Like we're gonna burn the ships today. We're gonna take the island. We're gonna lead with kindness. And we're not gonna just do this. We're not just gonna, you know, we're not gonna play not to lose. We're not gonna play on our heels today. Even with a simple child's lemonade stand, we're gonna swing for the fences. We're gonna swing for the fences. We're not gonna strike out with the fucking bat on our shoulder. We're gonna burn the boats, and we're gonna go all in, and we're gonna take the island. And we're gonna take the island leading with kindness. If you'd like to see this deep dive into these 13 anti-Harvard Business School principles that a 10-year-old will use in her lemonade stand, michaelmcleanletter.coach. michaelmcleanletter.coach. That's it. Pass on the kindness, pass on the message, and 2 words that changed my life, 2 words that'll change yours. Be relentless.